Hello, I'm Dr. Chandler. Welcome to General Psychology. I recommend that you print the video notes that I've provided to make your own notes as you view these video notes. Every video includes an assignment or information that you will be tested on in the in-class quiz or on the online tests. When you print the notes, you will have a study aid. Here is a diagram that will help you to remember the definition of psychology. The definition is the scientific study of human affect, which means feelings, behavior, which means actions, and cognition, which means thought. Each component affects the other two. The diagram indicates this, with each of these areas being interdependent, these double-sided arrows. In other words, they are not independent of one another. But why do we study human affect, behavior, and cognition? We study human affect, behavior, and cognition because we do not feel comfortable with uncertainty. We want to know what to expect. We want to understand ourselves and others and to be able to predict how we will think, feel, and behave, as well as to know how others will think, feel, and behave across situations. Psychology is the scientific study of human affect, behavior, and cognition. If I asked you what a psychologist actually does, I expect that many of you would describe someone doing therapy, which is what is often presented in the media. However, this is only a small part of the discipline of psychology. Here is a diagram that I've created to help you to understand the many branches of psychology. This is an example of a mnemonic or memory aid. The tree organizes the information. We can also use our knowledge of the alphabet, starting with A for abnormal psychology, the study of how to identify and treat psychological disorders. I will go over the other branches: biological, cognitive, developmental, experimental, personality, social, and how the treatments and therapies are the fruit that emerge from these branches in the following notes. So again, here you have the tree, and I've talked about abnormal. Biological is the study of the brain and genetics. Cognitive is the study of patterns of thinking and memory. Developmental is the study of the patterns of change from conception through death. Experimental is the center where all of the research for all of the branches comes from and utilizes the scientific method to research the mind and behavior. And we are going to be talking more about this in week 2 of this course, because the information in your textbook and in this course is not based upon faith or on any kind of anecdotal evidence, but it's based on research findings using the scientific method. The subfield of personality is the study of stable characteristics of individuals across social situations, and social psychology is the study of the effect of the presence, real or imagined, on individual feeling, thinking, and behavior. The study of therapies and treatments that comes out of every branch pretty much depends upon the conditions that are studied in the branch, such as psychopathology and abnormal psychology, or perhaps a brain injury or genetic disorder in biological psychology, or for each one of these branches, the specific kind of therapy or treatment would reflect the kinds of research done in that particular subfield. Often, the richest understanding of psychology comes when we consider a problem from multiple perspectives. For example, how might each of the perspectives in psychology approach the topic of physical aggression? Each of the points below is a consistent research finding. Biological aggression is associated with low levels of serotonin. In evolutionary psychology, we find that individuals aggress against people who challenge their status. In cognitive psychology, we learn to be more aggressive when we see aggression rewarded. For social psychology, we are more aggressive when we are anonymous and unaccountable. Developmental, aggressive behavior decreases sharply from the mid-20s on. Clinical or abnormal psychology, we have learned that aggressive individuals tend to have low impulse control, and in personality psychology, we learn that aggressive people tend to have very high self-esteem. Again, here is the diagram that you will be asked to draw for your face-to-face quiz 1 in class. You can see how for the branch of personality, I have also added some sub-branches that I'll talk a little bit more about in the next slide. So here it is again. This is what you would be expected to diagram, label, and describe. And you can see for the personality, I have also added 4 different sub-branches, different theories of personality that we'll be studying in this class: behaviorism, psychoanalytic, trait, also called dispositional, and humanistic. You could also draw an offshoot from biological, which would be consciousness, because we're going to have a whole entire chapter, for example, on altered states of consciousness. And you can see how that would be related to abnormal, developmental, cognitive, personality, and social, as well as biological. This is a model. Each one of these branches really is not independent of the others, but for the purpose of a memory aid, this is helpful.